Through the generous contribution of Dr. Lewis's family, we're very fortunate to be able to share with you these timeless recordings of Dr. M. W. Lewis, a self-realized American yogi. Dr. Lewis was Paramahansa Yogananda's first American disciple and dearest personal friend. The wisdom Dr. Lewis imparts through these teachings will give you a dynamic and practical insight into the ancient science of yoga as taught by Paramahansa Yogananda. This lecture's title is Faith is the Way to Know God, and was delivered in San Diego, California.
If God be with us, who can be against us? Is the key to this subject this morning. Because only through faith can you know God. And if you know God, you have sufficient courage for all things. So realize that. Courage through faith means that you must first know God. Know Him in a dynamic way. And then surely you will have all the courage that you need. And faith is the way that you know God. No other way, as I shall try to explain this morning. Now, first let us understand a little about belief and faith. Belief is all right if it spurs you on to investigate something. Investigate, for instance, self-realization. If it spurs you on to do that, then through your investigation, you realize what self-realization is. Belief is all right. Belief is not sure, though. There's a doubt in belief. Realize that. There's always a doubt there. You believe a thing will come true. You hope it will. There's a question whether it will or not. But in faith, you know it will come true. And now when you know God, through faith and contact Him, you know He is with you. You have sufficient courage for all things. But if you say, I believe God will do this for me, there's a little doubt there, don't you see? But when you know God through faith, there'll be no doubt. Faith means that you know a thing to be true. Belief means you hope it will be true. There is a doubt in belief. In faith, there is no doubt. I have a definition here which perhaps will help you, which the Master gave one time. Belief is an essential experimental feeling about the truth of anything. There's a little doubt there. You've got to experiment to see. But faith is the positive knowledge about the truth of anything. Positive knowledge. When you have faith, you know. Why is that? Because faith comes from the intuition of the soul. And soul knowledge through intuition is exact. It knows. And that is why. When you have faith, there is no doubt. You know. Because the soul is none other than God's presence within you. And realize that faith gives you the evidence of things unseen through the senses, but which are true. Faith gives you the truth about a thing. You call it the noumena, the underlying reality of life. Phenomena is the outward form of life, but noumena is the underlying reality. Faith gives you the knowledge of that noumena, not phenomena. Phenomena we receive how? Through the senses, through the mind, through the intellect, through inference, through feeling, lower feeling. But in faith we know through the intuition of the soul, far removed from ordinary sensation, mind and intellect. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. Now, as I have said, belief is based on the testimony of the senses, phenomena. But through faith, we know the underlying cause of things. And the underlying cause within you and within me is the presence of God. And if you know that, if you are one with that and have made the contact of the presence of God within you, and you know that His will and His consciousness is your own consciousness and will, and that by being one with Him you can utilize it, don't you think you'll have courage? That's what you have to know. You have to know these things, and you know them through faith. Realize that your own consciousness is none other than God's consciousness, and your own will is none other than His will when you couple it with His will. Now, when you can utilize that, don't you think you're going to have courage? Certainly. So that's the answer to the question this morning. Courage through faith. Certainly, faith gives you absolute knowledge that God is within you, and the presence of God is your own consciousness and will. Self-realization helps you to do that, helps you to know that through faith. Realize that, you will have sufficient courage. Now, when we were young, you will remember how carefree you were. Everything was fine. Why? Because somebody else was taking the load. I remember with my father, listen, that was it. There was nothing else I needed, because I knew He'd take care of me. But then, I began to look around, as we all have done, and I saw that other parents were taken away.